All right, everybody, it's your boy Genius out here at the range today. I have a Glock and a Glock shirt on. You know I'm not a Glock fanboy, but we're going to be talking about a Glock today. But before we get to doing that, just want to make sure out in front of everything, like always, that you know Jesus Christ is your Savior. We were born sinners. Christ came, died on the cross, shed his blood to cover you from your sin. You just have to accept that payment. If you've never done that, you don't know how to do that, you don't know for sure you'll have a home in heaven if you were to pass on from this life to the next, ask me how. I'd be more than happy to share the gospel of Jesus Christ with you. Either way, I have the Glock 45. That's essentially what it is. It's a Glock 45 with an aim point optic on it. And there have been Glock 45s with the mailbox aim point optic on it before, but this is different in that it is the COA. So they came together and found out a way to mount a aim point optic on this gun and it be flush along the sides, lower. It doesn't look like a freaking farmhouse mailbox sitting on top of your gun, right? It looks pretty good. It ain't any worse than my favorite optic, which is an SRO. But it said, well, why'd you buy a Glock, Gene? I don't understand. You're not a Glock fanboy. You don't even really, I mean, you did a video why people should stop buying Glocks. Well, I have the first gun I ever bought. I'll talk to you about that here in just a second. I did actually like the Glock 19X, the MOS that I have now as well. I liked it also, basically the same gun. One was optic ready, one was not. And I liked my 45 because essentially, basically it is a 19X, let's face it. And you have your Glock 17 lower, and then you have the slide of a 19. And so I like the 45 as well. I don't know why. I never liked the 19. Don't even really shoot that great with the 19. The Glock 17 with the finger grooves in it, the Gen 3 that I had, I mean, it's okay, but I can't explain why it is, nor will I try to explain why it is that I did like the 19X and the Glock 45. I actually carried it for a little while, but I had an optic up here. I believe it was the Trigicon RMR, and I wanted a closed emitter option. And every time I would go in the gun store, everyone would always tell me, Gene, man, you come in here and you buy all these guns and sometimes these high dollar, high end guns and whatnot, rolling around with a Hollison 507 or a 407, which, I mean, I kind of like, or an EPS or something. And once you buy a real optic, something tried and true and get you an aim point, man. And honestly, I always kind of wanted to, right? But I just didn't like the way it looked sitting on top of guns. They have one on a Walther PDP. It looks absolutely ridiculous, in my opinion. You do you, but I'm not carrying that gun. I mean, it's a mailbox sitting on top of the gun. Like it looks ridiculous, and I just feel like it's a snag point. I feel like at that point it becomes maybe a truck gun, nightstand gun, a toy at the range. Not really practical in my opinion, but they managed to make one that sits flush along the sides and is set further down into the slide itself. It's shorter, not as wide, but manage, I believe, to have a bigger window. And so when I saw this, I reminisced back to when everyone said, hey man, you need to get a real man's optic. So I said, well, I want to see what it's all about. And so I went out and I picked it up, and here I am today. So what I will say is that it is a nice, very good size window. I do love the window on it. It is super, super clear. The only thing that I would say is almost as clear as this one would be my EOTech, my E-Flex that I like so much. Same deal. When I picked it up, I thought that there was no glass in there. It looked like I could stick my finger right through it. It's super, super clear, and the dot is like it's painted on the glass. It is a good dot as far as that goes. Now, as far as function, holding zero, standing the test of time, I don't know. I guess only time will tell, but they do have a very good track record. So this is a difficult review for me to do because I've reviewed the Glock 45. I don't know what else to say about the gun itself. It is a Gen 5, front serrations, of course, the ambi slide lock, and 3 magazines. Basically, the Glock, accessory rail up front. A Glock is a Glock is a Glock, right? Same 5.5-pound trigger. Came with 2 back straps. Came with a tool to remove your battery tray and, you know, remove the screw and to pull it out of the side. It is a side loading battery tray, of course, so you won't have to take this off of here. It did not come with a cover plate, so only this optic will ever go on this gun. So I hope it, you know, stands up to the test of time. So you know, because I did buy this gun because I do plan to carry this gun. I hope it performs well today at the range, because again, I do want to carry the gun. It did come with the mag loader, the brush, everything that you're accustomed to finding in a Glock Gen 5 box when you buy it. They keep adding more things to the Glock and giving you the same size box that you can't hardly fit anything into. So again, that is the gist of it. It is a Glock 45 with a smaller, as far as the body is concerned, a smaller aim point optic up here that is not gawky and is not in the way whatsoever. And I'm certain from what specs I looked at that the window on this is actually bigger than the original aim point optic. So kudos for that, because you know, I did, and again, it was zeroed out of the box too, because I did put 2 rounds down range just to make sure that it was zeroed, and it was dead on. Dead on, so it was zeroed right out of the box. So I'm going to put this first magazine through it, and then I'm going to turn the camera around and let you see the target as I'm shooting at it, and talk about, you know, is it going to be my next carry? Is it going to be in the rotation? So I will say of the utmost certainty that the dot is very easy to pick up. It's very easy to stay on target, and the glass is super clear. You know, I can't just keep saying the same thing about a glass, about it. It's an optic, you know. But I was able to stay on target. As you guys may or may not know, I typically don't shoot that well with a Glock. That was pretty impressive for me with a Glock. So now I'm going to slow it down a little bit, get over here on this target, standing here at about 12 yards, and try to, again, slow down the shooting a little bit, see if I can keep a tight group with the aim point, with the koa, if that's how you say it. I don't know. Well, that's not too bad. I can certainly live with that. I hit the same spot about it 6, 8, 10 times, whatever it was. I pulled a couple, maybe 1 or 2 low and one of them to the left. But for the most part, it was right where I was aiming. If a dot works, if it does not splatter on me, because I do have astigmatism, and so sometimes when I look at a dot, it looks like someone just splattered paint on the glass, okay? This does not look like that. I do not have my prescription glasses on today. Sometimes I have to wear those in order to see some red dots, okay? That's not the case with this one. And like I said, it's very reminiscent of the EOTech E-Flex that is just a super, super clean glass. I'm a huge fan of that. I know my wife's a huge fan of that. I know the RMR and some other ones have these coatings on them that sometimes if it's the sun's hitting it just right, it's like that red pinkish, you know, coating or whatever that's on there is reflecting off the top of the gun. It really distorts your picture. And I just, you know what, I can look at this dot in the sun. I mean, I literally have it pointed right at the sun, and I wish you guys could see this, but I know it won't show up for picture. But the dot is just as crisp and clear up there in the sun as it is down here on the target. I absolutely love that, because in any situation I might find myself in, well lit or dark, it's not going to, I'm not going to have to try to adjust the dot and make it brighter or whatever. I really like the glass on this. So far, again, if this stands the test of time, it probably will end up being my favorite optic. So for everyone that told me to get one, you know, kudos to you. You were right. I should have gotten one. And like I said, I do like the Glock 45. I'm going to shoot at this Texas Star over here. I hope I don't embarrass myself and miss any of them. And just wrap up the video. I said, I'm going to shoot at the Texas Star. Hope I don't embarrass myself and miss the very first shot. If it would have been, and then I hit the next 6, so go figure that, right? And everyone after that. But as you all know, if you watch the channel, my last magazine, I always miss one. It's like a curse that I cannot break, okay? I like the gun. A Glock is a Glock. It is reliable. Would I have taken this out of the case, stuck it on my side, and carried it without ever firing a round through it? Absolutely, I would. Out of all the things I wish Glock would do, one thing's for sure, they have my confidence. And I definitely would put it on my side straight out of the box, just like I would my HEKs and my CZs, with the utmost confidence that it's there for me when I need it to protect my life. I've always liked the way that a Glock carries, okay? It carries really, really well. And this, the 45, carries really well. So I'm gonna try to find me a holster for it. I'm carrying my Kimber Carbon Compact today. And I usually carry in a leather holster, universal leather holster. So I'm probably going to try to find me maybe I carry outside the waist, so maybe a pancake type holster that is Kydex, and see how that goes. Either way, if you have any suggestions, let me know. Tell me what your favorite holster is outside the waist. Now, I don't cram anything inside of my breeches, and I definitely do not point a gun at the family jewels. I like them a lot, and I would like to hold on to them if I can. So thanks so much for watching. Glock 45 Koa. Again, it does and is expensive to come out here and run rounds almost daily sometimes to do these videos. If you can consider going over to Patreon, supporting me, $5 a month, cancel anytime. Go over to my website as well, gsquaredtactical.com. Hit on the 3 lines in the corner, screen pop down, hit on support the channel. These tiers will pop up. You have to pick a tier, but outside of name your price, you can clear that box out and put in what you want to pay and donate to me straight through the website. I will get the majority of that money, but I also get a good bit of the Patreon money as well. If you can't do any of those things, tell your friends, your family, where they can find the best, most honest, blue-collar, down-to-earth reviews, gun reviews on YouTube, and hit the thumbs up and subscribe, because that is support as well. As always, thanks again, and to God be the glory.